Hi, Internet. Thanks for joining me today. I'm intrigued by today's puzzle, which will be a Sunday New York Times puzzle. I try to do both the Los Angeles Times and the New York Times Sunday puzzles every Sunday. So I was going to do the Los Angeles Times first, but as I was looking at the New York Times website before I went to Los Angeles Times, I saw that the constructor of today's puzzle was listed as Sam Ezersky. My first thought was, I wonder if that's Sam Ezersky's spouse or daughter or something. And then I said, wait a minute, Amsay is Sam in Pig Latin. Is this going to be a Pig Latin puzzle? So I clicked on it, and sure enough, the title is Ixnay That. So I'm intrigued to try this. I'm going to do this one before the LA Times today because I want to see how it plays out. The editor is Will Shorts. I'm John Appleseed. I'm your host on the channel. I'm going to move my head over to this corner. And let's review the rules of Pig Latin because I think that's what the theme answers are going to be. We take the first letter of the word, move it to the end of the word, and put AY after it. So nix here is the original word. Move the N after the X, and then add AY. Ixnay, Sam's first name. Take the S, move it to the end after the M, becomes Amsay. So let's find out what we've got today. One across, sign off on. Don't know. One down, actor Will of BoJack Horseman. And I'll say, I don't think all the answers are going to be in Pig Latin. I think just a few of them. British cry of approval. Tally-ho or something like that. 3 down, scary snake. Don't know. 4 down, Joseph, who co-invented Rocky Road ice cream. All right, a 3-letter name associated with ice cream might be ED. Let's try that. 5 down, obstruction to teamwork. Maybe. Ego. 6 down, Greek crosses. Chi is an X-shaped Greek letter. 7 down, sudden surge. No, sign off on. Not sure about that. They're paving the way for 18 across. Road. Highs is wrong. This could be agree to. Tau is another T-shaped letter. There are crosses in Christian iconography using that shape. Okay, let's try that. Then agree to for sign off on. They're paving the way. Road. A road gang. A gang of people working on the road. 22 across. One of the better morning beverages. This is a long answer. Probably one of the themed answers, although there's no italics in the clue. But this might involve some Pig Latin. A better morning beverage. Don't know. 25 across. Hours for Augusta in August. Augusta in Maine or Georgia. Either of those would be Eastern Daylight Time in the summer. 29 across. Avoid blank. A GPS option. Avoid delays. Avoid traffic. Avoid tolls. That might be something you want to avoid when planning your route. 37 across. Just one inning left after this. Need some letters for that. Actor Will of BoJack Horseman. Will Arnett is an actor. Didn't know he was on BoJack Horseman, but yeah, that fits. Good O could be a British cry of approval with an OH at the end. Scary snake, a rattler. Not you. And where will the AY come into play? I don't know. I'm going to try road gang, as in a gang of road workers, could be paving the way. Sudden surge, an onset or an onrush? I like onrush there. $19 down, Montreal newspaper, continuously published since 1778 with the. Montreal newspaper, maybe a French name. 23 down, French city from which a soup gets its name. Don't know that. 26 across, blank Q, a 1968 hit. I think that's Creedence Clearwater Revival. Susie Q, baby, I love you. Susie Q. Something like that. City from which a soup gets its name with a Y. 20 down, get together. A get together. Q would probably have a U after it. Slice of the economy. An economic sector, maybe? Not sure. 8 across, feel the pain. Don't know. 8 down, round table title. Circumference of the round table. Might work. 9 down, blank cerveza, por favor. Una cerveza, por favor. Would be Spanish for 1 beer, please. 10 down, Phileas in Around the World in 80 Days. Phileas Fogg was the main character in that story. 11 down, the power of social media from a marketing standpoint, informally. Don't know. 12 down, 12 down is bit of green legislation. 8 across, feel the pain, could be suffer. Green legislation, is that like an eco law? Is that a thing? 13 down, Hindi for rain. The Raj, British rule in India is known as the Raj. I guess that's where that comes from. 20 across, island with ferries to Ibiza. So an island off the Spanish coast, probably Menorca. If I can get my R's and C's right there. Okay, is this OJ? Not your average OJ. Would be a better morning beverage. Okay, but I'm not. Not your average Joe. Joe can mean coffee, but we take the J and move it to the end, and it becomes not your average OJ. I'm a little confused because then we'd have an E left over, unless we're just thinking about the pronunciation. Okay, I think that's what it is. So we're not actually. Maybe we're just using phrases that sound like they're Pig Latin, but we're using the concept of taking Joe as a word for coffee and changing it to Pig Latin, which would be OJ, and then not your average OJ is a better morning beverage. Okay. I'm going to try eco law for 12 down, your green legislation. Styling substance for 27 across is styling gel. The power of social media from a marketing standpoint, is that free PR, free publicity, PR in the sense of publicity. 35 across, first non-English language film to win Best Picture. I want to say Das Boot, but that doesn't fit. That might not be it. 32 across, slice of the economy. Vichyssoise is a French seafood soup, I think. Or maybe I'm thinking of bouillabaisse, but anyway, vichyssoise is some kind of French dish. The French city of Vichy is spelled with an I, so maybe Suzy Q is with an I, which I don't think I've ever seen it written down. Get together. Oh, I'm sorry. Misread the clue. Q is already in the clue, so it's Susie, just the name Susie, with a Q after it. And then a get together is a meetup, maybe. Okay, yeah, my mistake there. The Gazette might be a English or a could be a French newspaper name as well. The Gazette sounds like a newspaper for 19 down. And then 12 across, slice of the economy could be an economic sector, yeah, like I originally guessed. 33 down, no U.S. area code. No U.S. area code starts with this. 1, maybe, because 1 is the international dialing number for the U.S. 34 down, nutrition figures, recommended daily allowances, RDAs, okay. And then 37 across, just 1 inning left after this. So in baseball, there are 9 innings. So the bottom of the 8th would be when you have 1 inning left. The 8th is underway. if you're just joining us, the 8th inning is underway. We have 2 men on base and so forth. The 8th underway. The 8th under... I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I like free PR for 11 down. Let's try the 8th underway and see if I can... I'm not quite getting the joke here. The 8th wonder of the world, maybe. There are 7 wonders of the ancient world. So, oh, you're the 8th wonder is a nice way to compliment somebody. You're the 8th wonder, but then we change it to the 8th underway. Not sure about that one. Let's keep going. 14 across, one of music's 3 Bs. Bach, Beethoven, and Brahms, I think, are the 3 Bs of classical music. 21 across, tangent line. Don't know. 24 across, zoom background option. Don't know that. 28 across, come on, the car door is open. Let's go or get in. The car door is open, get in. Merriment in one spelling. 28 down, gaiety can mean merriment, and I think it would normally be spelled with an I there where the Y, or an I where the Y is. So in one spelling, this is kind of a variant spelling of gaiety. 36 down, Minnesota County, whose seat is St. Paul. Don't know that. 14 down, Sweethearts, booze or bays or something. 15 down, one of the best coffee beverages ever. Okay, another beverage themed answer, I think. 16 down, top execs collectively. They're known as the C-suite in corporate jargon, where all the C's, the CEO, the CFO, and so forth, all sit. Charlotte NBA player is a Charlotte Hornet. So 21 across, tangent line. A line to go off on a tangent. 24 across. Can you blur the background in Zoom, maybe? Let's try get in for the car doors open. 28 across. Babes can be sweethearts. Also, I'm going to go off on a tangent. I'm going to add another point to my already long speech, I think, for 21 across. Is Parasite a film? 43 across, trifling. Be mere. All the. 40 across, annual gala locale with the. There's a Met Gala in New York City. 47 across, character with a Jamaican accent in Disney's The Little Mermaid was Sebastian the Crab. Darling, it's better. Down where it's wetter. Take it from me. This could be Ramsey. I like Parasite. All-time, one of the best coffee beverages ever. Yeah, okay, an all-time something. I'm going to try Parasite as the name of the film. Not familiar with it. 57 across, query of worry. Oh, no. What is 42 across? Go-getter sorts or type A's, type A personalities, and 39 down, suffix with journal. Journalese, I guess, could be jargon in the jargon of journalism, or an academic journal type words. 48 down, emperor who founded the Mughal Empire. Don't know that. 49 down, palindromic constellation. That is Ara, the altar. Are you okay? I'm worried about you. That could be a query of worry. 44 down, some natural borders in Mexico. Rios are rivers. They can be natural borders. All-time best coffee beverage. 50 down, noggin. Could be noodle, another slang word for your brain. 58 down, collapses with over, is keels over. And as I'm looking at the time here, we're almost we're 13 and a half minutes in. I'm not even halfway done with the puzzle. I remember that Sam Ezersky is on my list of difficult constructors. Berry plant related to a hawthorn, 64 cross as a slow. Yeah, so I am struggling with the puzzle, and I think I'm just not quite getting average OJ, eighth wonder becomes eighth underway. All time, this just does not click. Usually once I figure out the theme, I can kind of guess the theme answers from just a few letters. 67 across, humorous ending with hater. Haterade is, did you drink some Haterade today? Or are you a hater? I've heard that before. 74 across, underwater respirator. A gill is what fish use to respirate. All time. What have I got wrong here? Sebastian, is it an A or an E or an O maybe? Are you okay? Slow. His hair doth hang his ringlets. His eyes are black as sloes. My happiness lies with him, wherever he may go. All right, let's come back to that section. 41 across, meat sauce in Italian cooking is a ragu. That's where the pasta sauce brand comes from. 30 down, doesn't own, say, leases. 31 down, largest college fraternity in the U.S., familiarly. I don't know the fraternity, but sigma is a Greek letter that might fit there. 38 down, artfulness can be guile. Recent puzzle had guile as a clue for art. And a lot of people in the comments said, well, guile isn't art. It kind of is if you think of art as artfulness or craftiness. View from the Quai d'Orsay would be the Seine River. Okay, so let's take out sigma. Largest college fraternity. Or maybe it's like Sig Ep, like Sigma Epsilon, but they call it Sig Ep. 51 across, how a mountain road may rise or fall steeply. Okay, I think Sig Ep. Ep would be the most likely letter to be abbreviated there, epsilon. 46 down, Greek goddess of the night. I think that might be Nyx. I'm not sure about that. 60 across, seasoning preference when eating Maryland blue crab. Old Bay is the traditional crab seasoning in Maryland. Maybe it's extra Old Bay, extra bold. Extra bold could be a seasoning preference on its own, but if you're talking about it in the context of crab, you would say extra Old Bay. Okay, 54 down, many a Bahraini. Bahrain is an Arab, member of the Arab League. 55 down, Old El Blanc, a Tex-Mex brand, Old El Paso. Out in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love with a Mexican girl. 54 across, Threads, for example. Threads is an app, an application on your phone. 56 down, game with an annual World Series since 1970. Game, polo? Or pool? What's the last letter? 62 down, a bobcat is one, technically. Never knew this, but lion would fit with the letters we have. Is a bobcat technically a lion? 63 down. Okay, those three dots usually mean that the clue is continuing, or the answer is continuing from somewhere else. I don't think we had that going on up here in any of these downs. I'm confused today. Baba? Was there an Emperor Baba? B-A-B-A-H? 66 across. So here's my question. Don't know. Babar? That was the elephant from the kids' books I used to read. 70 across, 2-pound tomahawk steak, for instance. I don't know that. 61 down, smartphone clock function. Many clock apps have a timer on them. Here's my question. I ask you, Oh, maybe a bobcat is a lynx. That makes more sense than lion, doesn't it? I ask you, so here's my question. I ask you, poker has a World Series of Poker, yes? And 77 across, prescriptions for shorts are X's, prescriptions, okay. These are dots. Okay, it's not continuing from another answer, but just we got 3 dots as the clue, and they are dots. So that's what goes in. 2-pound tomahawk steak, for instance. This is something to do with T-bone. These all look right. El Paso, World Series of Poker, and Lynx. Timer, could it be something else? I don't know. 70 down, many-time NBA All-Star Tatum. Tatum, not sure of that. 71 down, boot out of Australia. Ugg boots are from Australia. Maybe this is a jumbo entree. 2-pound tomahawk steak would be a very large entree, a very large dish. Jumbo entree would be ront. Just not getting it. 70 down. Jason Tatum? 75 across. Home on the internet, perhaps. Could be a home page or some kind of page. 51 down. Latin for only. Solus, I think. Could be wrong. 59 across. Units on a multimeter. Does that measure resistance? Ohms would be the unit of electrical resistance. 52 down, what fugitives are on? They are on the Lamb. Okay, Sam Ezersky once again proves why he's on my list of difficult constructors. I'm going to guess a multimeter is something that measures electrical resistance. So ohms would be the units for that. The lion in summer, Leo is the lion in the constellation, and it is a summer constellation. 53 down, what might confirm the worst for an athlete's injury? Don't know. Is a summer constellation in the northern hemisphere, of course, want to be. Exclusive of our Australian friends and others in the south. 68 across, Sephora competitor. Ulta is a cosmetics store. Actress Bancroft for 69 down, Anne Bancroft. What is the page that is your home on the internet? The main page. Okay, maybe solum could be another Latin ending. Main page could be the home page on the internet's website. Slimy scheme for profit. A money grub. Okay. So emotional, what might confirm the worst for an athlete's injury? Not sure about that. 84 across, anchors provide this. News anchors read the news. Jason Tatum, yeah, that rings a bell, with Jason spelled that way. 76 down, metal material used for dishware before porcelain became popular. Pewter. A tin-based metal was used for dishware. 93 across, do I really want to start an online bidding war? To eBay or not to eBay. Okay, this one comes fairly quickly. This makes sense. To be or not to be, eBay would be where an online bidding war would take place. So this is to eBay or not to eBay. And I can easily see where the Pig Latin concept is playing in here. To eBay or not to I've got some to or not to eBay. All right, that one is easy. These other ones, not your average OJ. The eighth wonder becomes the eighth underway. Extra Old Bay, I figured out. Maybe this isn't a themed answer. No, it is. Cafe au lait, coffee with milk. in French, café au lait, all-time au lait, all-time low becomes all-time au lait, extra bold. I still am a little bit confused because in the first one, your average Joe could actually be, I mean, that gives the sense of Joe coffee, of better morning beverages. So not your average Joe would actually be a better cup of coffee. So without the shenanigans, it still makes sense that we change Joe to OJ, and it becomes, another valid answer with the funny Pig Latin thing going on. All-time low would not fit for a best coffee beverage. All-time Olay kind of does. But here, extra bold would be a seasoning preference. But we have two valid answers to the clue. Jumbo entree. Jumbotron. We're relying on the fact that entree is usually pronounced in English as entree. So Jumbotron is a large TV. We do the Pig Latin thing. We change it to Jumbo entree. But again, Jumbotron wouldn't be an answer for 2-pound tomahawk steak. So I guess we've just got two coincidences that extra bold and not your average Joe would actually fit with the original clues. Maybe that's just a coincidence. So the eighth wonder, yeah, I'll accept that as a common phrase. And the eighth underway, there's just one inning left. We're in the eighth. The eighth inning is underway. Okay, Jason Tatum, to eBay or not to eBay. That's clever. I like that one. Okay, 91 across, ACC school, an Atlantic Coast Conference school. I don't know. 91 down, like Manhattan in the 80s and 90s. Don't know. 99 across, Czech brew. Pilsner is a kind of beer, maybe from the Czech Republic. 103 across, the government at times. No, 109 across, creature in Magic, the Gathering. Don't know that. 115 across, finish filming is to wrap. That's a wrap. 118 across, no side. No, 91 down. Like Manhattan in the 80s and 90s. 92 down, Cialis alternative. That's one of those male enhancement drugs, I think. Viagra and Cialis. Emotional something. ACC school. Maybe the University of Virginia is in the ACC. Up something. The government at times is a what? 109 across, that's the creature. Ogre might be is that a card-based game? Trickles for 100 down could be seeps. Like a fluid, a liquid can do that. No side. I like wrap. This is ogre. Emotional X-ray would confirm the worst for an athlete's injury. And then what is that? Emotional. I can't even figure out what that is. Okay, but I think that's right. Taxer. Oh, the 80s and 90s is not the decades, but the numbers of the streets or the avenues or however they do it in Manhattan. Uptown Manhattan would have 80s and 90s. So nays for no side. The side on a vote that is no, that is against, is the nays. Uptown, taxer. I can't figure out what the original word here is that we are changing to get emotional X-ray. Emotion I don't know. 81 down, in the style of. Okay, not money grub, but money grab would be a slimy scheme for profit. Allah is in the style of. 82 down, school bathroom sign, maybe boys. Casual shoe is a loafer. Progressive initials in the U.S. Congress. AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, is a progressive congresswoman. 87 down, puts icing on. Not sure. Freezes. Methuselah's father, 88 down in the book of Genesis. I think that's Enoch. Move over, scooch over. Doesn't quite fit the way I spell scooch. I like freezes, but that doesn't fit either. 106 across, the middle sound of silence. Silence. I don't know what that is. Is it a schwa? That middle vowel, the E, represents a schwa vowel sound there. Kind of an unstressed E, schwa. Spin a yarn, perhaps, for 83 down. $96 down, stymie. I am stymied by this puzzle. Oh, Sam Ezersky. If I ever meet him in person, I'm just going to say, boy, you make hard puzzles. 72 down, creature with flat, transparent larvae called leptocephaly. I don't know what that is, but probably eel. Just a three-letter creature that begins with an E. 73 down, blank change. Exact change required in a toll lane, perhaps. Arouses, excites. So 74 down, vodka and lime cocktail is a gimlet. 83 across, listing that might include an explanation of benefits. An insurance claim, you might include the explanation of benefits with your claim. Okay. Tatas, I think, are chows, casual farewells. New Jersey. A New Jersey, but Jersey is capitalized. Oh, I was going to think it was some kind of a sweater. Jersey is also a breed of cow, isn't it? And that might be capitalized. So a calf would be a new cow. Paramount Plus docuseries with real-life crime stories for 90 down. Okay, probably FBI. FBI something. 102 across. Michael of REM is Michael Stipe. Shiny, happy people everywhere. 94 down. Long-eared pal of Pooh is Eeyore the donkey. Thanks for noticing. 104 across. What Pomeranians do. Pomeranians are small dogs. They yip or they yap, maybe. 110 down, Vintage Film Channel. Could be the Movie Channel or American Movie Classics or something. 95 down, country whose name Americans spell with a Z. Okay, Brazil has an S in Portuguese, but in English it's spelled Brazil. And let's try yap for what Pomeranians do. 105 down, vowelless attention getter. Psst. 110 across, give an extra perk to a cigarette smoker. No. 116 across, blank addicts, Revolutionary War casualty who posthumously became an abolitionist symbol. That was Crispus Attucks, who I remember learning about in 8th grade history class. 110 down, Vintage Film Channel. 111 down, milestone for a startup. For sure, would be an initial public offering on the stock market, IPO. 112 down, sister figure, could be a nun. And become gooey over as cheese atop a hot burger for 119 crosses to melt on. I think Turner Classic Movies is one of those cable channels. Okay, okay, so this should be an S. This is the country, and its native language in Portuguese, Brazil, and but in English it has a Z. But we want an S in the answer in the grid, and then we got tossing. You can toss somebody an extra perk. no, toss in, puts icing on is to frosts, like frost a cake or the frost on your car door for something. Toss in you give an extra perk to a cigarette smoker. You toss in you're giving something for free. You're tossing it in. Maybe scooch spelled without the T, 401 across, scooch over. And then spin a yarn can be crochet. That is a spinning, yarn, knitting type related craft. Stymie can be thwart. Toss in the ashtray. Or toss in the trash is a phrase. Ashtray would be trash, pig Latinized. And you're giving the cigarette smoker, why don't you just keep the ashtray? I'm going to toss that in. Okay. Traveling in waves is a C. You're at C, 113 down, pre-blank, an exercise program in advance of surgery. Oh, prehab, like rehab, rehabilitation, but you're doing it before the surgery, prehab. Okay, I haven't heard that before, but that makes sense. 114 across, bowelless rebuke. Tisk. Like psst we had earlier in the puzzle. Don't know what the FBI show is. 97 down, abode, that's a buzz. Beehive or an apiary is another term for beehive. That's right. Yes, yes. Going to wait across. Tis but a scratch, as the knight said in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. 117 across. Cherish is to treasure. Cherish is the word I use to describe all the feelings that I have lying here with you inside. So FBI true. I've not heard of that, but that works. Tab keys are usually found to the left of Q's on keyboards. And yes, yes. So S will finish the puzzle. I feel like I haven't correctly solved it because there's still some that I don't understand. Emotional X-ray. Emotional wreck. I'm an emotional wreck. We take wreck and we change that to X. Emotional wrecks. It would have to be plural, wouldn't it? Rex would become X-ray. Okay, that works. Was there another one I didn't quite get? Jumbo entree, I figured out that's Jumbotron. Toss in the ashtray makes sense. Okay, so I'm just, as I said, I'm just kind of thrown by the fact that two of these seem to make sense either way. Average Joe and extra bold would be, I think, legitimate answers to their clues. The others do not do that, I think. But to eBay or not to eBay, that is funny. I like that. Okay, so I think that is what's going on. I think I've figured out the theme. They all seem to make sense. And I think F finishes the puzzle, unless I have a mistake somewhere. There we go. So as I suspected, and as is usual for Sam Ezersky puzzles of any stripe, well over 30 minutes, which is kind of my personal marker of difficulty. Anything over 30 minutes is tough for me. All right, I like this puzzle a lot, and I was intrigued as soon as I saw not even the title of the puzzle, which I think was Ixnay this or something like that, but just Sam Ezersky's name as his constructor was given as Amsay Ezersky. And as I said, my first thought was not Pig Latin. It was just, I wonder if that's somebody related to Sam Ezersky. And I said, wait a minute, Amsay, that's an unusual name. Oh, Sam Ezersky. Maybe this is a Pig Latin puzzle. So I really wanted to try it. I'm glad I did. I will try and do the LA Times maybe this afternoon and try and post that as well. But yeah, I like this puzzle a lot. It's clever. It's a clever idea, and I was originally expecting that there would literally be AYs at the end of many of the clues, but we did it without using that. Just the phonetic pronunciation of the words works. So OJ, we did have Old Bay and eBay here. Ashtray uses an EY, but a lot of the others do not. Café au lait uses the French pronunciation. Underway. All right, so that was clever. A clever idea, and he executed it well with his typical difficult clues, just a little bit thrown by do both answers have to match the clue, which I don't think is the case because most of them do not. All right, so I enjoyed that quite a bit. Thanks for watching. Please come back for more puzzle and games, and I'll see you next time.